Thank you for tuning into this week's episode of the Paper Bag Club podcast. My name is Aliyes Richard. With me, as always, is my good friend Richard Knox.
Whoop, whoop.
Episode 34.
Oh, wow.
Right.
Time flies.
True, when you're podcasting and missing a couple weeks.
True. I think we only missed like 2 or 3.
Yeah, but who's counting? We're not making money anyway.
Maybe four. And you know what? I think all of our loyal, wonderful, gracious fans should be happy. Yeah, Mom. Hi, Mom.
Right. Yeah, no, my mom will actually text me like, where's the video? Where's the podcast? I'm like, oh, shit. I said, It's on the way. It's on the way.
But during this whole Corona thing, we're still trying to do our best to make sure we're giving you some wonderful, quality entertainment.
True. And to that aspect, today we are talking about drones. Yeah. So let's go ahead.
More like a bug zapper.
Although drones can work as bug zappers in a way, because the first time I flew mine, I came back and that thing was like riddled with dead bugs. Yeah.
Ooh.
Guts and blood and wings. And
it's like, can it really fly that fast that it's obliterating bugs?
Right. I mean, when me and Cameron and Marley drove cross country to Utah, every time
in a
we
brand
would
new
stop,
car.
Yeah, in a brand new car. The thing was spotless. Every time we stopped, we looked at the front grill. Disgusting.
Ugh.
It was bad. Real bad.
Could you imagine if we were the size of bugs and we were just getting hit by stuff like that? No,
right?
I'm sorry.
It's like, can you even imagine? You're just like going about your day, just flying, chilling, doing whatever, probably
because there's
food.
Like gunk. I feel like there's a lot more to us. You know, it's like that is definitely intestines.
But imagine if they were like giants, still, because those were real at one point.
Yeah, they were.
If there was giants and they just said,
"Hope I accidentally stepped on that one."
Oh, that's another couple humans done.
Shouldn't have been in the house. You should have known.
They got a human swatter.
That must be a solid swatter, man.
Break your bones and everything.
Right.
But so back to drones.
Drones are cool. They're totally not invasive at all.
Yeah. I got a couple stories. We got a couple of experiences. I got 2 questions. One's for you, which I know the answer to, but I'm going to ask for the audience sake. And then we'll do the question the week after. So, Richard, have you ever flown a drone?
I have. So, once and very recently, it was the drone that you have, which is a quadcopter.
Quadcopter. I'm not sure if it's like exactly a drone or if it's a quadcopter. I think there's a distinction. I'm just not sure what it is exactly.
It's like a drone, as in it's exactly the same.
It's just different name.
It goes up in the air, and there's a camera, and you could see whatever you want. Your neighbor in the pool in her bikini.
True.
Or
the White House.
Really great scenery. So we actually did it right outside of work. And you got some pretty good shots if I recollect. I haven't actually seen the footage.
I'll show you after this.
But I saw it as, obviously we were flying it. There's a little device on it that is the camera angle. Yeah, there you can see what the drone is seeing. And one as high as you can get. It's just crazy.
Yeah, I'm not sure the exact number on it, but when you're flying it, you get a notification saying altitude reached or something, or maximum altitude reached. But it's so high that when you look up, you can't even see it anymore.
Mm-hmm. It's like, is that a blinking light? Is that an airplane? Is that the quadcopter? Is that a drone?
UFO. It's a UFO.
Aliens. But that was a really cool experience, only because I haven't done it before. And other than like having like a remote control car when I was a kid, I've never had something like that. With the controller in my hand, flying it around. So there was a couple of times where I was flying. I'm like, no, yeah, I'm a little too close. And then obviously when it got so far up and so far away that I was kind of like, okay, look, if this thing just turns off, we're not going to find it. It's in the marsh.
Yeah. I mean, there's some cool features in it. The particular model I have is the DJI Phantom 2 Vision Plus, which is a drone that came out in 2014. I'm not going to get into the specs. I'm sure nobody really cares. Yeah, so it's a little
older, but in my head, when I'm thinking of 2014, I know people who are buying cars from still like the early 2000s.
Yeah.
So, in my head, I'm like, that's still new.
True. It's just like in the age of technology, like cats and dogs have like cat years and dog years. Mm-hmm. Technology has a similar thing, in a way.
Technological years.
Right. Yeah, if
that's
it's
why
more,
Apple comes out with a new phone every
year, if not less. Yeah,
so why didn't you think of this already? Why am I just now getting this?
Yeah, in terms of technology, if it's more than a year old, it's basically ancient history. So,
but this is not. This was really cool. It was really cool. Fun. How many times have you been able to fly it?
The last time I flew was actually the day you were talking about at the field, and that was actually my 4th time flying it, and
I couldn't tell. You were doing really good at it.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm not a pro at it yet, but I'm definitely. It's a very intuitive drone. I'm not sure. I mean, of course, this is my only experience I've had with a drone or quadricopter or whatever the hell. But we're just gonna call it a drone for the rest of the episode.
Yes.
But this is the only drone experience I've ever had in terms of actually flying it, and it was very intuitive. It was very, very easy to fly. The hardest part was just realizing which button on the remote did what. So the very first time, actually, let me backtrack a little bit. So I got the drone as a gift in October, and I had never touched a drone, flown a drone, used a drone. And so I went to, mess around with it. I watched a couple of videos, and they're like, okay, this is how you use it. This is what you do. And I tried all these things, and it would not work for the life of me. It got so bad to the point that I actually contacted customer service, and I sent it in to get repaired. And, this whole time I was under the impression it was a Phantom 3 standard, and that was like the model number. So I'm like looking up Phantom 3 standard, connection issues, flight issues, whatever. And then I get the controller back, and in the email it says, we have successfully completed your Phantom 2 Vision Plus. I'm like, what the hell is the Phantom 2 Vision Plus? And I look it up, and I'm like, that's my freaking drone. That's like literally the exact one. So the whole time I was, looking up solutions for the wrong drone, and that's why mine wasn't working. I was getting frustrated, and every now and again I make like a slight improvement into like slight progress to making it fly. And
another issue.
Yeah, exactly. It was either the phone wouldn't connect, the app wouldn't work, the drone wouldn't start, one or the other, the battery was dead. Something kept happening, and then eventually I brought it back to Marley's dad's, which is who gave me the drone, so thank you. And we were essentially ready to literally light it on fire because we were both just done with it, And then I said, you know what? Let me try it one more time. And I watched a video. I got the controller back. I did everything you're supposed to do, and for the first time the light came on, right? And then I looked up how to fly it, and you have to like push the
diagonal in.
Yeah, something like that.
The button sound.
Yeah, and so I finally, for the first time in, I think this was like
months.
Yeah, I think it was on Easter that this happened, yeah. And I got it in October, so about five months, and that's the first time I ever got it to work. So I was like, my face lit up. I'm like, okay, I'm ready to fly it. But I said, hey, let me take this outside because I obviously don't know what I'm doing. On the controller, it says like up, down, left, right, tilt, camera. What there's like the directions and the buttons, but considering I never flew it, I obviously didn't know what I was doing, and I hadn't watched a video on how to fly it. So I was like, "Hey, let's take it outside." And then
it's a true man thing, right? I got it. I'll figure it out
when I'm up there. And then Jeffrey goes, "Fly it in here." I was like, okay. And I didn't know what I was doing, so it did something, and the propeller started, and then it lifted up for a split second, and then it tilted all the way to the right. And Marley's sister Grace was sitting on the couch, and the propeller like nicked her foot. Now I don't think she bled or anything. She was complaining about it all night, but whatever.
Yeah, jeez, Gracie.
And I didn't know what to do because I've never been in that situation. I didn't want it to fly off and hit someone else like in the nose or something, or the eye.
Her toe.
Yeah, her other toe. So I like yanked in there with my hand, and I didn't realize what I had done, but I yanked it in there, just like try to stop it, and I got my finger pretty good. It's healed now, so I can't show you, but I got it pretty good. It was bleeding all night, but I was like so happy that the drone was working that I didn't care.
Who cares? I'm missing the tip of my finger. We got a drone.
Yeah, so Grace, your foot broke two of my propellers. So really, who's the
big loser here?
Yeah. So they took it outside, and I flew it for the first time, and then the second I got in the air, I got a auto. I think the feature is called auto home, where if the drone or the controller or something, it has like less than 10% battery life, it will automatically go back to where you started. So I had just got it in the air, and the battery had basically all but died. So it did like an emergency landing, and I had to bring home and charge, and then go from there. So what was your question? I forgot. Sorry.
I don't even have how many times have you flown it?
When I flew, that was my very first experience flying it, and I crashed it. And then my second time, I took it to a field, and I was just really trying to master the directions, the controllers, and I crashed it twice that day too. Yeah. When I say crash, I mean I didn't like break anything. It just like hit a tree and turned upside down,
Yeah, so for your viewing pleasure, we're about to put in a couple clips of all the stuff he's caught on the drone right here.
And we're back.
So my first experience with a drone, funny enough, was when I was in Hawaii, and we had talked about doing like an episode about it. I don't know if we actually did an episode about my trip to Hawaii.
You know, I don't think we ever got around to it.
I think we talked about vacation. I had brought it up before, but back in December, my sister's birthday is almost right in the middle of December. We actually went out. I took 2 weeks off of work. When I got back, my boss said, "Don't ever do that again." And I said, "I don't know if I'll ever have the chance," but everything lined up for me. I had a flight. I had a place to stay in Hawaii. So I said, I'm going to Hawaii.
True.
And so we went to these magnificent beaches and, we dined on the local food and everything. But one thing we did at one of the beaches was my brother-in-law cruise. And we're going to shout you out here. And then my sister Blanca as well shout you out because wonderful experience. And their beautiful son, Richard Jr. I mean, Sebastian. Sorry. He my brother-in-law brought his drone, which is very similar to Aliyes's. I think that they might be a year or two apart somewhere, but they look exactly the same. And we got some really cool footage of us at the beach in Hawaii, and that was my first experience. So just being able to see the footage on the big screen too of like how high we are and how far we were and flying over and going out so far over the water and being scared, like, I don't know, what if something happens and it falls in the ocean, like it's gone in the Pacific forever.
That was one of my biggest concerns when I flew the drone for the first time. I mean, I wasn't near water, but I was like, man, I want to take it over water, but I have no idea how to do this, so I'm gonna give it a couple more tries.
And also, just for your viewing pleasure, we're gonna put a couple clips of the drone footage from Hawaii right here. And we're back. So it was a great time being there. Like I would never exchange that. One, because my brother was there. My sister lives there with her husband and her child. My brother and his significant other came with their children as well. And then my mother. So I couldn't have asked for any more in this trip. I really couldn't. Like, it was just perfect. Awesome. And I hope you enjoyed the footage too of both these times, because just the time we flew the drone a few days ago, I was actually on Aliyes's one wheel, and we were catching some really cool shots of me riding in, him flying the drone right next to me, which again, I haven't seen those either, but here you go. And it just looks really cool. Like, it's a whole different side of cinematography. Would you call it? Would you call that? Filmography, cinematography of being like, being able to be a part of it and having Aliyes, allowing me to be a part of, something, his artwork, to one, be a learning process, but two, I love being the center of attention. So you want to put a drone on me and I'm on a one wheel. This sounds like a win-win. Yeah,
it was pretty fun. There's a lot of things I want to do with it. I think that the biggest thing about flying a drone is just it's almost like you're flying. Like you yourself is flying, because you're controlling this machine and this camera, and you can go X amount of miles high, or feet high. Maybe not a mile, maybe a feet, couple hundred feet.
I'm trying to think. I've ran miles.
But how many feet are in a mile?
I couldn't imagine like running straight up,
right,
into the air, like sideways. Like, how long would it in 10 minutes worth of running, because I'm a little out of shape, and 10-minute mile is where I'm gonna be at.
Yeah. So either way, you're looking at this camera, this monitor, and you're flying the drone, so you're controlling it, and you're essentially flying yourself, which is really cool. It gives you a really unique perspective. Like, one of the first things I did with the drone is I maxed out the altitude. I just went straight up. Like,
let's push the limits.
Right, just all the way to
lightning bolt strikes it down.
Oh, right. Oh, I can't even imagine. There are some horror stories about that, and it's just really cool being able to see that. Like, I think one of my favorite parts of like flying in a plane is window seat, just looking out.
Oh yeah.
So it's a similar feeling to that. You just get to see a different perspective of like your everyday thing. Like, if I were to fly the drone above my apartment right now, like, that's a different perspective I'd never be able to see. And drones are cool for recreational use, and they're actually really big in like the world of like photography or cinematography, real estate. I know you have some about some real estate people who do that.
I have some people I've met who have their own real estate business, and it's like a mother-son duo, and they're really good with using their drone to capture some of their properties they're trying to sell.
Estates.
And I remember showing you that a long time. I'm like, man, you should check out what these people are doing, because it's like A1.
Yeah,
it's A1.
There's a lot that I want to do with it. The only restriction is I was actually doing some research onto it because drones in themselves are a bit of a gray area in terms of like hobbyist to commercial use and stuff. And a lot of, especially now because like we live close to a couple of airports, the air station, military bases and stuff, and there's actually a whole like slew of information that I never would have thought. If you want to fly drones like commercially, like get paid for it, first of all you need something called the FAA 107, I believe it's called. It's basically like a drone pilot license. Costs $150 to take the test, and it's like a 60 question test. You get 2 hours to fill it out. You have to go to like a small airport, like flight simulator place or something like that. I was doing some research on it, and the rules are always changing. In the past, like in 2014, they're significantly different than what they are now. But the main things, if you're flying as a hobbyist, recreational use for fun, and you're not generating profit off of using it, or using it for illegal reasons, the basic rules are like common sense. Like, don't fly on top of an airport. Don't use it to spy on people. If there's like a manned aircraft, like if you're flying, if for some reason you have permission to fly at an airport and you see like a pilot coming your way, like don't get in his way, because you could kill him or something. A lot of it's pretty common sense, but I think they're trying to become like stricter on the rules of flying drones just because they can be dangerous. Like you said, I mean,
probably they're a lot more available.
No,
than
definitely.
They probably were. Like you can go to Walmart and find drones for really, really cheap, and obviously they're not going to be doing the things that most people flying drones are going to want. But anybody can go and get one and just put this in the air.
True.
For anybody to see or do.
So there's a lot more like restrictions and
imagine how Amazon's going to be in 20 years. They're going to get rid of people altogether and just say drones straight to your house with packages.
Right. That's one of the things I haven't looked into. Slightly separate topic. So I maxed out the altitude on my drone, but I haven't maxed out like the range on it. I had imagined it's pretty far, but what I would like to do eventually is take like a straight road and just try to go as far and as like high as I can or something.
What you should do is figure out
what it is before I do it.
You can type. I'm sure you can look up what it is.
I'm sure I could.
Like Google Maps around your house, because we only live like a 5-minute drive from each other. What if you could fly it all the way to my place and we just test it out one day and I just grab it?
That'd be
just
wild.
Waving at you and you land it, and then I drive it back to you or whatever.
That'd be wild. That'd be cool though.
That is pretty far now that I think about it though. I'm like,
it's not.
It's a 5-minute drive, but I'm going 40.
Yeah, and also I can cut across the trees.
True. Also,
we'll try it one time. We'll see if we get there.
Next episode.
Right. So I mean, but there's a lot you can do with the drones. I know a lot of companies are using them for like film projects. Commercials. Like they're just really cool. The perspective of it. If I use it more often, I am going to look into getting a newer quality good drone. I mean, the price of drones have gone down a lot. Like I think.
Oh really? I feel like they would only have gone up.
Well, I think yes and no. So like,
yes, they've gone up, but they're down.
Well, also like there's something called the Mavic Mini. It's a $400 drone. It's really really tiny. It has good picture quality, probably better than the one I have. And because of the technological advances, it's probably better than the drone I have. I would say. I think it has longer flight time, better flight control.
And you think your drone probably costs more than $400 when it came out?
I think the fully kitted version, which is the one I was given in 2014, I think if my research says right, it retailed at like $1,800.
Oh my God.
Right. And now I can buy something smaller, longer lasting, and essentially better quality for not even like
fraction.
Yeah, exactly. So, but also there are some very expensive drones out there, consumer based ones. I've even seen some non-consumer like professional cinematography grade like drones, and they are massive, like the size of cars.
Yeah,
and the blades.
I know the military has drones too, and they're literally planes.
Yeah, and like the blades are literally knives. They're cutting through air, like so for those things you definitely need a license. But there's some I'm pretty
if
sure
you accidentally run this into somebody, they will die.
Yeah, chop your head off, not just your toe. But I mean, I can definitely see drone piloting, one, becoming more stricter in the future just because of how accessible it is, how cool they are.
How invasive.
Yeah.
You could just fly it anywhere. You could fly it in front of somebody's window, and if it's open and you can look through it,
views.
there you go.
Yeah. But also in making things stricter, I think if you do have a drone pilot license and you have a drone and you want to make some money off of it, when things get stricter, you can make a decent amount of money charging for it because you need that license. You bought the drone, that's expensive as hell in itself. And then you have the license, you put the time in, the rules, so you can fly safely. I was watching this video on YouTube the other day, and this guy said that he has his, Part 107 pilot license, and he's done jobs, and anytime somebody asks about it, he goes, "Oh, don't worry, like I'm licensed." And they're like, "Okay, cool, I trust you, whatever." And then
$3,000.
and then he was like flying it in his brother's neighborhood or something. It was like a suburban neighborhood or whatever. And he was just flying over. He wasn't like doing anything wrong. At least he said he didn't. And the neighbors called the cops on him. They're like, "Hey, like you're like terrorizing the neighborhood with this drone. Like you're freaking people out." And then the cops say, "Hey, you got to stop." He goes, "Actually, I'm licensed." He goes, "You're good to fly. Have a good day."
There we go.
Right?
Nothing you can do about it then. It's like you covered your own ass.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, in that aspect, I'm sure he was really appreciative that he had the whole thing.
Oh, actually, I don't.
Right. I said, "Yeah, I'm just going to fly out of here."
Right. Grabs the drone lifts him up.
Can you imagine? That'd be crazy.
Mary Poppins style.
Right.
But with technology instead of magic.
So yeah, I would definitely like to invest in more drone stuff, but like I said, I mean, photography and cinematography and drones, it can get very expensive very quickly. Like, I mean, that one I said it's a $400 drone. It's good, but like, I think the Mavic 2 Pro runs about like $1,800, and then that's just like the drone itself, not even like extra accessories and stuff. So it can get very expensive, but something that I was actually thinking about for this episode was, do you remember that night we were in the parking lot with Taylor? And she was telling us about that employee who I think he did a real estate job with a drone.
Yeah,
and he worked at Best Buy. And he got the Best Buy credit card, and he had the employee discount, and he got paid the cost of the drone to do the job with the drone. So it was like the most all paid for genius plan. I was like, oh, I want to work at Best Buy now.
Yeah, just for the discounts,
right? But I think it was something along the lines of,
we're looking for a sponsorship, Best Buy,
right? I think one of the way she said it was like, there was an employee at Best Buy. He had a Best Buy credit card. You got the Best Buy discount. And then he did a job for a real estate place who, I don't remember the exact number. I want to say
I don't think he'll get in trouble for this one.
Yeah, if not, we don't mean to.
But oops, if you weren't supposed to do that.
Yeah, I mean, I asked somebody if you can like use the discount.
I don't even think that guy works for Best Buy anymore.
Yeah, probably not. It was like years ago.
Real estate photography.
True. Yeah, but I think I asked somebody at Best Buy at one point, and they're like, "Can you use the discount and the credit card?" They're like, "Yeah, why not?" I was like, "Okay, sounds good." But like, he got like paid $3,000 for like a real estate job, so he used that money to buy a drone on the discount on the credit card, paid it off entirely, and he made profit off of it. I was like, damn, bro, that's genius.
That's working the system.
Yeah, it's smart though. So I would definitely like to invest more time into flying the money to get a better drone for better quality, because I mean, like I said, mine's from 2014. It's a good drone. It flies. It's very fun to fly. The quality is okay. I just want something better.
And realistically, what I'm thinking about, when we got so high up in the air, so we were in a field right outside of our work, and I could see, where we were and where our work was from that vantage point. I was just, even if you're saying, there's better quality out there, the quality still wasn't bad. And, being able to see that from that angle, it's just like, wow.
Yeah, so I'm going to use this as an opportunity for learning how to fly it, techniques, tips, a little more.
You couldn't ask for a better way for it too.
Oh, definitely.
You got it as a gift, free. And now like you're being able to, explore this other world of photography, cinematography. So, it's just awesome to think that you got it and you're doing it. Like, just wonderful.
Yeah, I'm glad it worked, because at first I was like, oh, he got me a broken drone. Like, it's free. But also I'm not trying to be, disrespectful or whatever. But
ungrateful.
Yeah, exactly. But drones are very fun. We're probably going to fly a lot more every chance I get, especially once this whole COVID-19 thing's over and, parks open up again. I want to take it to the beach. I want to take it, to the mountains. I have a lot of plans for my drones and stuff.
So what was the weekly question one more time? You drone?
Drone.
We drone. You drone.
Do you drone?
He, she, we drone.
Right. I guess we'll just go back.
We
to
drone. So
have you ever flown a drone? If you have, tell us about it. Your
have you ever
experiences.
drone or flown?
Did I say that?
No, that's
Okay. I was like, I would not be surprised. Yeah. What are we at? 25.
Yeah, so thanks for tuning into this episode of the Paper Bag Club podcast. I'm Richard Knox, and with me always is Aliyes Dell. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell notification, or hit the bell to get notified anytime we put out a new video, and follow us on Facebook, Twitter, IG. You can also go to all these different places to hear us. One, on YouTube if you're seeing this video, but we're also on Google Play Music, iHeartRadio, and Spotify. We'll keep all the links underneath just so you can see it. And as a little bonus link, we're going to link you his short film he did some drone footage for underneath. And thanks for watching.
Deuces. Word.
I feel like there was something I wanted to put in there at the end, and I forgot what it was. So.
For drones or for the outro?
In the outro about the episode, but I don't remember what it is. So. Oh, well.
It drones. Oh, the
you drone?
Documentary now or no?
No.
Okay, something like that.
No.
All right.
It's entirely different. I had it in my head, and I started going off on the outro. Let me see.